Spidy is back with one another video. In previous video we have seen about how we can create a SageMaker custom container with our own algorithm. Now in this video we are going to discuss about how we can create end-to-end API with Amazon Rekognition, AWS Lambda and API gateway. So without wasting time, just let's get started. So this is the video flow that we are going to discuss. So first of all, I have created already architecture that I'm going to discuss with you, and I'm just going to give you the explanation of our flow. Second, we are going to create Lambda function and we are going to see the code. In third, we are going to create the layers of Lambda because we need to have some external dependencies. In fourth, we are going to set up API gateway. In fifth, we are going to deploying the API, and in sixth, we are going to test the API. So let's start from the first. So overview of architecture. So for this flow, I have created this architecture. So if you are talking about in production environment, so always we need to have the architecture. It just, you can consider system design or HLD. So with HLD, you will have the visionary idea about how your implementation flow should be. So let me go through the step by step. So what in first step, what we are going to do is we are going to assume that user will have the access of our API. So now what our API will do? So we need to assume that our API will handle the image as a request and it will return the response as a detected objects like car, vehicle or any other objects. So this is our API imagination, and now we are going to see that user will send the data like as image. In step 2, our API will take the image, and what it will do, now this image will be, this request will be handled by the API gateway in step number 3. So you can see API gateway. So if you are going to see this rectangle is AWS, so all these resources will be in AWS and this API will be the on internet like outside of AWS. So on step 3 we are going to getting that image and triggering the Lambda function. Now after triggering a Lambda function, in fourth step you can see we are going to process the image and we are going to make the call of recognition API. Now if you don't know what is recognition is a AWS AI service. With that we can do all those stuff like celebrity recognition, object detection. There are multiple things that we can do here. So in fifth step we are going to call that API and we are getting the response, and the same response AWS Lambda will return to the API gateway, and API gateway will return to the API and API will return to the user. So basically we have created the API with API gateway, and that is attached with AWS Lambda function for processing, and AWS Lambda in backend it using the recognition. So that's how our small and beautiful architecture is. So with this architecture you will get the high level overview of our solution. So now let's implement this solution. This will take some time to implementation, so be patient while watching the video, and you can do the follow similar with your environment, but make sure this would be implementation of this would be having some cost of AWS. So make sure that you are taking this as a caution, and that will be some cost for your AWS account as well for creating the resources. So just like and I want to request you to like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our Machine Learning Hub YouTube channel. So just you need to log into the AWS console, and I'm just paying all those costs because of my huge subscriber fan base. So just I want you that you guys subscribe the YouTube channel and you will see the lots of content regarding this. So let's get started. So first of all, at the step 1 is done. Now step 2 is the Lambda creation. So you just need to go into Lambda console by searching here. You will end it up by getting the Lambda console. So you will see the functions. As of now I have not created any function because like I am creating multiple functions and deleting after the usage. So please make sure you also delete the thing after creation, otherwise you will see the huge cost. So give the proper name of your Lambda function. So here I am going to give a proper name which should be object detection Lambda. Runtime should be, I'm more happy with doing coding in Python, so Python 3.10. Execution role, so whenever AWS create any service or anything related to it, will attach the role for a particular service. So role is nothing but it's containing the permission. So as of now just select on the create new role with basic Lambda permission and click on create function. This will hardly take 20 to 30 seconds to create a Lambda function. So now let's focus on the code. So let's wait for the Lambda function creation. I have already created the code that will be known as a lambda handler.py. So it will be nothing a Python script, but make sure that this Python script always should be in the lambda handler, and it should have the event and context. So this is the structure of Lambda function. So inside this Lambda handler you can play with anything that you want. Now you can see that my Lambda function is created, and it will get the by default of this very simple Lambda function would be written. But now we need to change with our own function. So let's understand whatever things that I have written. So first of all, JSON boto3 is the SDK that we need to use. Boto3 logging base64 bytes IO pill. So pill will be pillow, right? So pillow will be used for your image processing. So now make sure if you know this or not, or if you don't know, but in AWS Lambda we are not getting any external dependency. For external dependency like pillow or TensorFlow or anything like that, you need to have Lambda layer for that. So that I'm going to create as well, so that I will show you how you can do that. So this is the only external thing that I'm handling. Apart from all this will be the inbuilt. This boto3 will be also inbuilt in AWS Lambda. Now you need to initialize the recognition. Recognition is a third-party AWS service, so you need to have the client for this. And now for the logging purpose, I am just enable the logger. Now in this Lambda handler, what I'm going to do is, first of all, I'm printing the event. So event would be if someone is sending a request to my API, it will treat as an event. So event in the sense API gateway will trigger my Lambda function. Okay. Now this event, in this event, user will be sending the image. So image would be the binary data. So first rule of API is never pass your binary data right directly. You don't need to pass any binary data directly. So what you need to do is encoding. So encoding we will do in API gateway, that I will show you later. Now in your code you need to assume that your data will be base64 encoded. So first of all, then if your data is encoded, then you need to decode with base64. And now what I am doing is event body I am decoding. So this will be the structure of Lambda function, event body. Now whenever you are getting this body, so you need to assume that this will be the binary. So binary always should be handled with the bytes IO. Bytes IO is nothing, it will convert your data into the proper bytes. Now with pillow I'm going to open my image, and what I'm going to do is I'm going to generate a temporary binary with stream. So this code will generate a temporary binary, and now I'm just doing some logging purpose like detecting the labels. So here in this recognition.detect label, so this is already created method. This would be just one kind of API call here. So here you need to pass image is equal to in the dictionary bytes. So this will expect some bytes data, and obviously data will be the in bytes format of this, because we have generated the image would be temporary, so it would be temporary bytes. Now I'm defining maximum labels. So maximum label should be 15 and minimum confidence should be 70. So if confidence is more than 70, then it will show you that label, otherwise it will not return that label if confidence is less than 70. So what you can do accept these values in your API as well, but as of now I'm giving the static. Now what I'm more interested is label and confidence. Confidence would be the accuracy. So with this response, what I'm doing, I'm just printing the label and confidence, because this response is going to give you the lots of unnecessary information. I'm not sure, see, for the user perspective it would be unnecessary, but for a developer perspective those information can be useful, but I don't want to show all those information to users. So I will be showing this label and confidence to user only. So what I will do, I will create a one list into the dictionary, and this will be the json.dumps and labels info. So what I am doing is returning the response status code is equal to 200. So always remember your successful API status code is 200. In the body you will send the result that you got from your API. If anything exception happen, so I'm logging that exception, and return code is 500, and I will return the reason of error as well. So that's how my Lambda function is created. So this is the backend of my API. So this code will be treating as a backend of API. So let me show you the example response as well. So your API response would be something look like this. So I have given some traffic image. So what you can see here road, confidence, building, city scrap. So you will get this kind of information from your API. Even through you will get the bounding box as well, right, for particular object, but as of now I'm not doing that. Otherwise what you can do, you can get the bounding box and you can draw on particular image as well, right, with proper rectangle. But I don't want to overburden my API as of now. Okay, so now let me go back to my notepad, and you can see that two part is done. Okay, so I just need to copy this code here and paste into the Lambda function. Make sure in Lambda function you save this code and don't forget to deploy. Okay, and just do one more time test as well. Like if any reason some kind of a space is there, right, so it will be observed during this time. So now you will get the third party module error, like no module name pill, right, pillow. So you need to have this lambda layer. So most of people, what they do is they are going to build the lambda layer, and so those steps are very difficult. Even though that could be the easiest step as well, but I have more easy step to build the layer as well. So let me show you that. You just need to search lambda layer GitHub. You need to just write this in Google. You will get this second link, which is K layers. So this is the already built-in lambda layer. From this we need to get the lambda layer. So I think I have chosen Python runtime is equal to let me check, it's Python 3.10. okay, so I need to click on this Python 3.10. you will see the region wise list. So as of now I'm working with the AP South 1 Mumbai region, so you just need to select the AP South 1 from this and click on HTML. So you will see the already built-in layers for which is already created by them. So most of libraries are built in. So what you need to do, you just need to search here, which is pillow. So now you can see the pillow here. So what you need to do, just copy this ARN. So make sure you properly copy this ARN. Now you need to add this as a layer. So click on this layer, click on add layer, click on specify an ARN here option, paste this and verify it. So you will automatically see this pillow 10.10 Python compatible version of Python 3.10 add. So it will automatically install that dependency, and your lambda layer is built within 15 or less than that second. So let's do test once again and let's see. Okay, so whatever my code is going to be failed because it's not attached to a API, but overall my code is passed because now I'm not seeing the lambda this pillow error. Okay, so let me close on all the necessary tabs. So my third step is done. Now let me create the API gateway. In fourth step we are going to create a API gateway. So for that I need to go into the API gateway. But before going into the API gateway, one more thing that I am just actually forgetting. You need to go into the Lambda configuration. Go to the general configuration. You need to edit something here. The first one is the timeout. So by default Lambda will be timeout in 3 seconds. So you need to make it 1 minute 3 seconds. The maximum timeout is 15 minutes. So till the 15-minute Lambda can be executed, but 1 minute is enough for our API. Now increase the memory. See, 128 MB memory is enough, but if you have some hard tasks, just increase it to 256. So just understand this, if your memory is more, your Lambda function will be very faster. So click on save and you can, okay, so this configuration is done. Now one more thing we need to do, we need to add the permission for recognition. So I already mentioned this thing before as well. So in IAM role we need to attach the recognition permission. So what you need to do, click on this add permission, attach policy. Now here you just need to search a recognition. So it's not RECO, it is REKO. So just give the recognition full access. So make sure you are not doing this mistake actually, because in production account giving the full access is very, very dangerous thing. What you can do is, you just from the full access you can copy this JSON and give the particular resource name here. So that will be for particular Lambda function only. But as of now, just for simplicity and faster purpose, I am just giving the full access. Okay, so now my Lambda function can access the recognition. Otherwise I will get an error of permission issue. So now my Lambda function is properly configuration is done. I am going into the API gateway, click on API. You will see the lots of option, HTTP API, WebSocket, REST API, private. So as of now I want that API should be created publicly. So click on build. I am going to give this name as a object date, API. Done. API endpoint region means simple that API will be in public. Otherwise you can do as optimize or private as well. Okay, my API is created. So this API gateway user interface is changed a lot. Anyway, so now what you need to do, create a resource. A resource is just like if I am writing google.com then / Microsoft, just like this. So this will be treated as a resource here. So click on create resource, give the resource path would be obviously / I am giving the API name is detection. Sorry, resource name is detection. Now click on this detection. Now right hand side you will see the create method. Here you need to select the post method. So how your API should be handled, you can choose post, get, head, option, page, delete according to your usage, but I'm treating with images, so I would say let's do with post. Now you will see the integration type. So we are having the load, like we can do HTTP load balancer, VPC, AWS service, and like there are multiple options to attach your API, but as of now Lambda function is there. Now make sure you are clicking on this Lambda proxy integration. This is a very important step. Now AP Southbound, select your region. Now what is my Lambda function name? It is object detection Lambda. So you can directly copy ARN from here, and otherwise you will see this in a search as well. So my Lambda function here is done, and make sure you remember that key Lambda, not Lambda, API gateway will be timeout in 29 seconds. So you need to make sure you are using the default timeout. Create method. So my API is done. So you can see your API is created. So integration request method, and right hand side you can test your API. So as of now I'm writing anything here to test my API. I'm just checking that it's invoking my Lambda function or not. See, you will see the error because this is cannot identify the image file. Why? Because I have written it's not even binary, it's not even proper binary object, but I can confirm that my API is now triggering my Lambda function. So you will see those errors. And okay, so now I can confirm my API is done. Okay, what I need to do, deploy this API. Stage, you need to create new stage. I am giving this stage name as a dev. You can see stage means dev or production according to your use case. Click on deploy. So according to this like fourth step is done. Now we are going to deploy our API. Okay, let me deploy the API. Okay, now let me go back to the stages. You will see the dev stage here. Click on this resource, we have already detection. Click on this post, and this is your invocation URL. So now open the postman, copy this URL, click on post, go to body, select binary, attach any image. So I'm going to attach this traffic image. Okay, so anyway I'm getting some error. I know the error reason that I'm going to show you, like one more configuration that we need to do, but overall my API is working. Okay, my flow is working fine. So what I need to do now, understand this very carefully. I mentioned this thing before as well. Whenever you are dealing with image or any kind of binary data, either PDF or anything, you need to enable one setting in API gateway. This setting is here. In this API setting you will see the binary media types. So you need to click manage media type. So overall this is for media, like if you are transmitting any media files with your API, you need to mention here. So as of now I'm only passing image only, image/star, that I need to enter only. Save changes. So now what API gateway will do, if you remember, when I was explaining the code to you, here on this step I mentioned that we need to decode the data, right? Here we need to decode the event body. So if I'm mentioning this image star, like which is my binary media type, what it will do, it will encode my event into the base 64. So this is very important. See, you can't pass any binary data without encoding to your API, otherwise your API will be overburdened and overload for sure, because binary data it will be the very huge data for small image. So that's why I'm encoding into the base 64, and encoding even I don't need to do. This will be handled by my API gateway. Okay, so once again what I need to do, again I need to deploy this API. Now stage is already created, dev deploy. Okay, now let's see my API is running or not. And now you can see my API is running. I got 200 is equal to okay. So let me open the testing image as well. So if I'm going into the traffic image, so you will see road, car. So all these things are detected here in Postman, like building, and confidence is most of 98, car, transportation, vehicle, person, city. Let me try with animal as well. So send me the request. So animal, lion, mammal, wildlife, zoo. So overall my API is working fine. What you can do here, in addition of this, you can take this value which is maximum label and maximum confidence as your API headers, so that can be passed by the user, so that you can do add-on on this, and you can do multiple things as well. Either like you can do image process with CV2, and then you are feeding to your recognition. There are multiple things you can improve this version. Okay, but this is the base version that I have created, and I have followed this architecture. So let me summarize whatever things that I have done in very short. So first of all, what I have done, I have explained you the architecture and use case. Then we have created Lambda function, we have seen the code, we have created the IAM role with proper recognition permission. Then we have created Lambda layer for pillow. Then we have created this API gateway and configuration setup. We also set up the binary media type is equal to image/star. Okay, it could be PNG or JPG, and then we deploy the API. So let's test this API is working or not in with Python object, with Python script as well. So again, let me go and copy the URL. So because if you don't know this fact or not, but triggering API through the Postman and triggering API through the Python or any other programming language would be the very different thing. So make sure ki if your API, in some of the cases it might be possible that ki your API is running fine with Postman, but it might be not running with the Python or any other thing, like any other programming language. But now I can see that my API is running properly fine with the Python. I'm using request.post. I'm feeding this image like after reading into the binary. Okay, so now I can see my API is working fine with programming language and Postman as well. So now I can use this API into my production application, and that's how it should be done. So that's how we have created flow from the not having zero resources, just having the architecture, and we have implemented whole system I think within 20 minutes. So I just requesting you guys like and share this video, and don't forget to subscribe our Machine Learning Hub YouTube channel. You will see lots of videos regarding this or AWS or infrastructure HLD. You will see lots of things in future. So like and share this video, and don't forget to delete the resources that you have created, otherwise you will see the huge cost. Okay, and I'm also paying this cost just because of you guys. So make sure you guys also support me. So like and share this video, don't forget to subscribe. So guys, see you in the next one.